Hey, everybody, Off the Mic Sports Network here. Another edition of Off the Top Rope. So the numbers came through for AEW Collision on Saturday. They had a huge lead in from that crazy, for you sports fans, that crazy Clippers Nuggets finish where Aaron Gordon dunked the ball literally at the last singular possible millisecond, and it led right into Collision, which was already pre-taped. And we had Swerve Strickland, the Young Bucks came out. I was very critical of that situation because that was an interesting usage of your time. And so the official number is 770K, 707K. And you would think, in the grand scheme of things, that's a good number for Collision on a Saturday. But let me break this down for you guys and tell you exactly why AEW is just trying to grasp at straws to just say that they're actually comparable to the other place. So the lead in from that game, that Clippers Nuggets game, was at 1.67 million. By the time it was 10:45 Eastern, when they went on the air at 8:49 Eastern time. By the time it was 10:45 and it was time for the main event of the show, it was at 365,000. If you guys want to do the math with me here, that means they lost 1.3 million viewers in the span of 2 hours. 1.3. And you guys are trumpeting up an arbitrary number, just an overall view. Just here's another thing. Within the first 10 minutes, 10, 15 minutes, they were down from 1.67 to 847K. They lost half their audience. Half their audience. Nobody cares. Even with these lead-ins, they can't manage that correctly. And maybe that'll translate to Dynamite tomorrow. That they should have a better number than they did previously. But I'm not going to have it with you people who are just trying to use a huge lead-in from an NBA playoff game as some sort of reason. Oh, haha, we beat NXT this week. No, you didn't. No, you didn't. Like, you literally bled out almost the entire lead-in you had, at least half of it, within the first 10 minutes of the show, and you had lost almost, I would say, close to 75 to 80% of it, maybe even more than that. You guys can maybe do the percentage math because I'm doing a video here, but you lost almost the entirety of your viewership by the time the show went off the air. I would not call that a success. It's a neat way to use and boost your numbers, and I give Tony Khan some level of credit to boost it up. But if you're a sicko or if you're one of these other people, you are exactly part of this problem of just enabling that this is just okay because, okay, we're fine. Because first of all, separately, if you're okay with 707,000, like, yeah, that's fine for a Collision. But when you look into the context and everything that factored into it, but then also, let's also look at the fact that it outrated, Dynamite on Wednesday, even if it was with the lead in. That's embarrassing. That's embarrassing. Like, listen, everybody thinks that I am just this glorified hater. And, on some level, yes, I have gotten really annoyed with this place. I don't hate, wrestling companies trying to do well. I hate when they are lazy. I hate when their fans are just out of control and stupid and try to push the narrative that somehow everything is great when it is actually not. That is why I do these videos. That is why. And I get seriously sick and tired. And then everybody's talking about this number that came out. Guys, you got bumped for a movie that was made 7 years ago. Granted, a very popular movie in the Avengers. Under no circumstances should a live televised program be moved off of its scheduled slot for a movie that, if you're going to get bumped for NBA playoff coverage, if you're going to get bumped for NHL, that's fine. Unless TNT has some sort of contract with Warner Brothers that they have to air it in that spot, that's ridiculous. And then you guys, like I said, everybody wants to trumpet up this 700,000 viewer thing for, AEW Collision on Saturday night when they had the huge NBA playoff later. Like, on some level, like, if you guys would have been able to maintain the lead in, you didn't. You lost half of it within the first 10 minutes of the show. You lost almost all of it by the time the show went off the air. Nobody gives a shit. You had posters and everything in the Vegas airport. Nobody watched your product then. Why don't you guys try to figure out how to get more people to watch? I mean, I do appreciate that they're trying to lower the prices of some of their tickets and, push that out there. That's actually a smart idea. I don't know if it's going to make any tangible difference. It's just you're trying to frame this as some alternative and a competitor to WWE. You're not. You're not. When all these things are happening, and I go on, and I did this last year when the playoffs, this was right around when Swerve Strickland got, won the championship. They did the same thing, and they lost a whole bunch of viewers. Guys, you've got to understand, like this is exactly what is wrong with the place. It's like, yeah, they're doing these cheap tricks, and then their fans are just endorsing it, and then the people in charge think, hey, who cares about the other people who really want to see actually, want to getting the people who we can probably steal away from WWE who are mad at the high prices and the bad ending to WrestleMania. This is the best they can do. And that's upsetting for me as a guy who, wants to see more direct competition and wants to see people try. When AEW was really trying 3-4 years ago, this type of shit wouldn't be going on. But they don't have creative minds there anymore. They have a bunch of has-beens and a bunch of people that they're using their previous gimmicks that are just getting paid way out of their price range and are able to do whatever the fuck they want. This company is not in a good place, no matter how you want to slice it. So, anyway, thanks so much for watching. I'll see you guys soon. Bye-bye.